We found out that Clara had a spastic quadriplegic cerebral palsy when she was about 22 months old. They did an MRI and they found damage to the white matter of her brain. Basically, her type of CP affects all four limbs, and it's just a lot of muscle tightness, and her gross motor and fine motor skills are impaired. So first, we didn't know very much about it. So when they told us like she has, this CP diagnosis, I immediately, like, as a mom, I'm like freaking out. I'm like, what does that mean? And they had to reassure me that it wasn't something that was going to get worse over time. That I didn't know a lot about it, so I immediately went to the internet and social media trying to find as much information as I could on it, just to educate myself more. And I came across a lot of Instagram pages of parents whose children had cerebral palsy and different therapies that they were doing and equipment that they had. It was encouraging for me to see that I wasn't alone and that I was able to just learn more about it and get myself more informed so I could advocate better for her and her needs. So we went to see the orthopedic surgeon. They've been doing x-rays on her every year, once a year since she was diagnosed. And slowly the migration in her hips has gotten greater and greater. And so I think it was last year we saw the orthopedic surgeon for the first time. And he said that her hips had gotten considerably worse. He said that if it continued in the way that it was going, she was going to end up having to have hip surgery. And so I'm asking him, like, well, is there any way we can avoid doing this? Like, what can we do? He recommended Botox. He recommended stretching, no W sitting. A stander was never mentioned. Through our research, we were learning that hip abduction is important because it can help prevent the migration of the hips over time, and it can also help correct the migration that she has. So we were really interested in getting a stander, and I think she got her stander in June of this year. She does her school in it, she does her playtime in it, she likes to play video games in it. We requested it. It was not something that was offered to us. We had to ask for it. She agreed that it would be a good idea. She got a doctor's note from Clara's PM&R, I believe, and then she went and put the paperwork. Just in that time that we've had it since June, we've seen a great difference in her range of motion, in her stability in her hips, in her standing. Her physical therapist that she was seeing back home, she even has commented on how much stronger Clara looks in her standing and how much more range of motion she has in her hips than she did before she started the stander. So that's been exciting to see. Definitely ask questions. Definitely do research on your own. Find doctors that are supportive of you and supportive of you asking questions that don't make you feel like you're silly for asking a question. But yeah, and then finding some type of like community, whether through like social media or like actual people in your area that have children that have cerebral palsy or whatever disability that your child has, because that's people that you can talk to, you can bounce things off of, you can vent your frustrations to.